Welcome to the Midnight Matinee with your host and hostess, Robert and Angie Curtis.
Welcome, everybody, back to the Midnight Matinee. And we're back with another one of our 31 days of Halloween movies.
I think we're at 22, but don't hold me to that.
22? We're getting close.
It's one of my favorite movies, actually, from recent times, The Conjuring.
Yeah, The Conjuring.
So, just to give a brief overview, in 1970, paranormal investigators and demonologists... Oh, no, I lost it.
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah, I've lost it.
They go to investigate the Perron house.
Yes.
It is in rural...
Rhode Island, actually.
Rhode Island. There you go.
Parents and their 5 daughters had recently moved into a secluded farmhouse where a supernatural presence has made itself known. Through the manifestations are relatively benign at first, events soon escalate into a horrifying fashion, especially after the Warrens discover the house's macabre history.
Yes.
It's been a crazy day. I went to a Cardinals game. Everything was going great. My firm takes us all down in a bus, and we got back on the bus. Bus no go. So
yeah, it's a balmy 105 today.
Oh my God.
In St. Louis, the heat wave, as I like to call it, from the weather dominator that's changing the weather. The unnatural heat wave we've been enduring here is.
And it's only June.
Yeah, it's only June, and they've got it cranked to 11 already.
Can it be spooky season yet, please? Because I'm looking a little balmy today.
Maybe they'll turn it on then, too. And we'll get into the cycle of what we always do, where...
But I didn't want a bear.
Summer and winter, and there's no spring and no fall.
No fall. Okay, The Conjuring.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
Yeah, I do, too. It's really good.
I can rewatch it. I have never not enjoyed watching it, in my opinion. I think it's a great story. It relies a lot on suspense.
Yeah.
It has to be overly gory.
No.
And it's based on a true story.
Well half-assed.
Yeah, well, as far as you can take Ed and Lorraine Warren's word for it.
It's half-assed based on sort of a story.
Supposedly there was a lady, Bathsheba Sherman. They said she killed her child, and then she hung herself in the yard in the infamous tree.
Right.
And obviously that was back in, 1800s, early 1900s. I don't think they ever really specified.
No, they don't say.
But anyway, the family starts at first, little by little, and then everything ramps up in that clapping game.
Right,
Yeah.
they play the hide and go clap.
Yeah.
Never heard of that before this movie.
Yeah.
But it works. This is one of those movies that we talk about where it doesn't have a lot of gore, it doesn't have a lot of violence in the first 2 acts, and it uses atmosphere to portray dread, and it works really, really well in this movie, and it tells a story. If you didn't know, like, if you don't ever watch the other channel and where we go into real paranormal stuff, then this is it's a good story. It's a good telling of the story, but the story in this movie is completely bogus. But it makes a good movie, and that's what we're here for. So,
is it that one, or is it the one in it? Yeah, the house is available for rent.
Yeah.
But the lady who currently owns this has
she's
gone a little bit off the reservation.
Yeah.
We're not going to say anything else because she is a very liable...
Yeah, very Sue-happy.
Sue-happy
Her
person.
and Jason Hawes are having a back and forth, which is good eating on the internet because the two of them take the gloves off regularly.
Well, the paranormal... The one thing I don't like about the paranormal world is there's a lot of paranormal drama.
Yes.
That goes on between groups and individuals.
Infighting and...
Because it's a very small...
Yeah.
Group of people.
And I don't want to say that it attracts drama people, but it attracts drama people. That's the rub of the paranormal business. The paranormal the world of exploring paranormal is what I'm saying. Like the science of it is full of a lot of people who want a paycheck.
Yeah.
And that's
they
why
want the notoriety is what they want.
And
the clout.
they want that. They want those clicks. They don't care how they get them. And our channel, we could care less about the clicks. We're here for the science of it. And if a thing happens, then it happens, and we can document it. If it doesn't happen, then that's also, a thing, because it didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
So, going back to this movie, it uses the cinematography, and this is a movie that was filmed in the 2.31 wide. What do they call that? I know it said it in here. Cinescope. 2.35 Cinescope. So it's the wide and narrow film. So if you don't know how the psychology of film works, whenever you watch a movie that's filmed in Panaflex or Cinescope, it fills up your periphery, up to your periphery of when you're watching, and you kind of zone in on it, and you become like you're immersed in the picture. It's almost like a VR experience, because the cinema is so big that it takes up your vision, basically. And they use that to great effect in this movie, because they have the bokeh out of focus ring around what you're looking at a lot of times, and things move in that, like it would be in your periphery. And because you're zoned in on something happening here, when something moves over here, it has a really good effect.
Yeah.
And the James Wan is a master of doing that in these movies, because he's constantly making you look at a little thing here and slow panning in on it and drawing your attention into like the music box or like the little room or something, and you're like, what's gonna happen, and then like something will move in the periphery, and then it changes your focus, and then the score and the acting in that scene makes it so intense, and you're so caught up in the scene that you're like, what is going on? Nothing is going on. It's a slow pan across the room with a dusty dresser in it, but you're on edge the whole time, because you're like...
It builds the suspense.
Right.
I mean, it does. I don't know how he does it, but yeah, it is just really... You're really engrossed into what is going on.
Yeah.
And then when something does happen, you're just like...
Right. And it's a period piece of a movie. And it's like in the 70s, I imagine, because...
1970, I think.
Is it 70? Yeah. So it has that vibe to it in the beginning when you first meet the Perron family. It has that kind of Brady Bunch. What was the one with the bus?
You're talking about the Partridge Family.
The Partridge Family. It has that because they have a whole lot of kids. And there's a lot...
I think it's 4 girls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that going on in the beginning of the movie, and you're kind of like...
And they're running around, and they're being kids doing kids stuff.
This is my room, all this stuff. And
you're playing games.
Yeah, and it works, because you're like, you're on board with the family right away,
Yeah, you really like the family.
Yeah.
And Lily Taylor, she's for many horror movies.
It has the guy from Office Space in it.
I don't remember his name.
What was that guy's name? Oh, I have to scroll up.
But he... it's a great cast.
Ron Livingston.
He
is such a fantastic, underrated actor.
And then obviously you have Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson playing the Warrens. This is actually where we were first introduced to the Warrens, because this was the first movie in the Conjuring Universe.
Yeah. And it opens... Is this the one that opens with the lecture?
I believe so.
So you see Ed is giving a lecture, and Lorraine is there at the lecture, and they're asking the questions, and he's kind of like a cool guy, He's like, yeah, but we don't get into that, and blah blah blah, And then someone approaches them like, hey, I know this family who's having this problem. He's like, that's not how we do it, We're usually called in.
I think it was actually the mother who went and sought them out.
Was it?
Yes.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I just remember that he was kind of like standoffish.
Well, and is this the one, or was it the second one I'm thinking of, where she had just gone through, I think, the Amityville? I think there was something going on that almost like hurt Lorraine Warren or something like that. So he was very cautious of her.
Yeah. Right.
But
no, that was definitely the second one, because this one takes place before that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because makes sense.
Yeah, but anyway, it establishes the characters very well. And when Ed goes out to the house the first time and Lorraine is doing her psychic thing, he doesn't talk about the ghost or the haunting or anything at all. He's talking about a car in the backyard and how it needs a new carburetor and all this stuff. And the family's like, aren't you going to deal with this stuff? He's like, let things happen. We're going to deal with these little issues first. And I really appreciate that as a person who walks into stressful situations a lot as a funeral director. That's the thing that I do sometimes too.
You want the honest truth. The way that they came in, the Warrens, and they came in with the camera guy or whatever, their tech person. It kind of had that same feeling like the Poltergeist movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It came in,
right.
They were setting up, they were doing all the the checks and whatnot.
Yeah. And they're very, I don't want to say guarded, but they're not like ghost hunter or ghost adventures where they come in and they're like,
oh my god,
oh yeah, right, they're all jacked up, like they're kind of like, yeah, whatever, we'll check it out, but we're not that impressed, right?
Yeah. And
then once stuff does start to happen, then they get more deeply involved in it, you know what I'm saying? But it works. The payoff in the first act is very good because Ed doesn't really care. And he's more there to support Lorraine, and Lorraine is kind of like, there is something here, but it's blocking me, it's got that kind of thing going on. So it has the dynamic of where he doesn't have any sensitivities and she does, and he trusts her instincts, and then she trusts his instincts to tell when somebody's full of it, and they can just leave.
Yeah. Right. Well, in the music box, which I love. I actually kind of recreated my own version of from scratch, making a music box. But yeah, I love them props.
Yeah, this movie has a lot of I don't want to say like world building, but it's more like a mythos building, because the actual story of what happened in this house would be a paragraph, like the real story, because the Bathsheba lady was just a nice old lady who lived down the street. There was nothing.
They thought she was a witch.
There was nothing that happened in her life that was like that. Like,
one thing that's hard about this movie too, the Conjuring being the first movie, it set the bar for the rest of the Conjuring universe very high.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think out of all of them, in my opinion, this is still the best one.
Right.
Out of all the Annabelles, the Nuns, which are all very good movies, but...
Yeah, but, well, the Conjuring movies, too.
Yeah, well, and the other Conjuring, I still think that this is the best one of the whole...
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Though the new one's coming out in September, so...
So we'll see.
We'll see if they go out with a bang, or... Because, Ed and Lorraine Warren are both passed away now.
Right. And
expired, as they say. Their
story is kind of... slid. Now that there's not them to pick on anymore, people have kind of, they've kind of taken a look at their collection of stories and been like, a lot of this is sensationalized. It's not as authentic as it seemed back in the day,
Yeah.
Because you could have Ed Warren on this TV show to be like, no, this is a fact, this happened. Whereas now you kind of look at it and you're like, yeah, I don't think so. But, it is what it is.
It is. Okay. Reel it back. Okay. How about we go ahead? We'll put up our haunted rating system. And I personally think it's a 5 out of 5. I think it's a Hell's Bells, which is a true masterpiece of horror, sends shivers through your soul, claws at your sanity, and lingers long after the credits roll.
Yeah, I don't feel bad about giving this a 5 out of 5 at all, because it solidified an entire, genre of movies afterwards.
It was like a shining light in there've been a lot of bad horror movies.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a whole time, like, when they were doing, they were following, the Japanese horror movies where everything was a little girl with hair in her face.
Right.
I mean, how many movies had something similar,
Yeah.
But...
Or the shaky camera.
Oh, God, or the found footage movies.
Yeah, and it's so done.
This one was beautifully shot. I think cinematography was amazing. Atmosphere.
Actually has a story. It uses real life people, so you can kind of get
got a great
deeper
cast.
into the story. The cast is fantastic. That Lily Taylor is in it, and I really, really like her.
Is she the one? Is she? I think the first time I ever saw her was she in the movie The Prophecy with Christopher Walken.
I think so.
And she was like, had tried to unalive herself or
Right.
something, and he was keeping her alive. She's been amazing.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty old movie, but yeah, I love
She's
that
in
movie.
a lot of movies, and she's always very, very good. She's in that one, The Haunting or whatever that one is.
The Haunting in Connecticut?
No, the one that where with Liam Neeson and
Oh, yeah.
what's that one called?
Oh, my God. With Owen Wilson, Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
I think it's just called The Haunting.
The Haunting, yeah. And she's fantastic in that. She carries that movie.
Yeah, she is unhinged in that movie.
Yeah.
And,
It's
yeah,
really
very good. Yeah, I would love to live in a house like that, but not with all the nice spirits. How about that?
good. Right.
I don't want any ones that try to eat me in my bed or something. The bed tries to eat me or no.
Right. And like I said before, Ron Livingston is a fantastic actor. He's so underrated and underutilized as far as I'm concerned in movies.
Yeah.
He has a presence on screen, and you immediately like him. You know, like he's one of those actors that could just kind of look at you and like, oh man, what a great guy. Like, he's a great guy.
So yeah.
I want to have a beer with that guy.
Okay, let's reel it back. Have we watched anything? We've been still watching Preacher. We're in season 2, or have we jumped to 3 now? I can't remember.
I think are we in the second season? I don't remember.
I can't remember. And then I started watching Department Q, which is more of a crime drama, so I guess it's not right.
Nice.
Yeah, it's I really like it.
I watched a couple movies on Shudder that were not of note.
He
I watched
watches
that vampire. What was that vampire movie that I watched the other day?
I think we thought it was.
It was in French.
Oh yes, the French one, and I'm like, because I don't know French, obviously, I wasn't really.
It was
looking.
a very artsy movie, and it got. I don't understand what the plot of it was.
Oh, and yeah, that was very sexual.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's from the early 70s. I don't remember. I can't remember what the name of it is. I'll put it right here. But basically, this guy is hunting down or following a vampire, and it was too much. I don't. At some point, it's like I don't even know what the plot of this is anymore. Like he's just hooking up with vampires, or he stole some stuff from his friends and then hid in a castle, and then the vampires like took him in to protect him.
And it's a bunch of women, half naked.
But they're witches too.
Women.
And then they admit, like in the end of the second act, they're like, oh yeah, we have a party every year where we bring a gentleman, basically to eat. And he's like, well, I don't want any part of that.
He's going to be the main course.
Right. So then, like, the one sister turned on the other one and, like, tried to let him go, but then she ended up trying to kill him, and then she ended up killing the other sister, and then it gets to the end, and you're like, I don't even know...
I
don't even know what is going on anymore. Because, like, everyone is dead, except for the vampires, and they're kind of, like, doing their own thing. You're like, did somebody lose the script at some point?
I think it was the French doing what the French do.
So, yeah, it was not a good movie.
I saw that the new Megan movie was coming out. We've seen the preview for a couple times, and I don't think neither of us have
we
seen.
haven't seen
I
the
looked to
first
see
one.
if it was available on any of our streaming services. Unfortunately, it's not, but
Yeah.
it's on Stars, which we do not have.
Oh, yeah, the one we don't have.
But I thought, hey, there's a movie coming out, but I don't know. You think it'll be something we like or not? I can't remember. I don't know why we completely just kind of passed on that one.
What, Megan?
Megan.
It looks silly.
Yeah. I don't know.
Killer AI robot.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you never know in this day and age.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's our review of The Conjuring. If you haven't watched it by now, it's on you.
Yeah.
Because it's a fantastic movie. It is
a fantastic movie.
For how long has it been out? Like 10 years?
I think it was like 2013, I think, maybe.
13.
Yeah, I think so. It's been over 12 years. If you haven't watched it by now, watch
It's
it.
your problem. It's streaming on everything.
And the Cardinals lost today, but I won a bear.
Yay.
Yeah. Isn't he cute? I won some trivia. And I don't even know baseball that well.
That was the goal.
Okay.
All right, everyone. We'll catch you next time.
On the Midnight Matinee.
Here's Todd.
Bye.
You've been watching the Midnight Matinee, brought to you by the Veritas Project. So when the clock strikes 12, grab your tickets for the next episode of the Midnight Matinee.